Across Britain today stand hundreds if not thousands of historical sites, be it churches, castles, ancient buildings or ruins, all reflecting a rich historical past for Britain. Since April 2021, I've been highlighting just a handful of such sites in my new series of Rambles through history, telling the stories of such places and wherever possible, highlighting the lives of those who helped make the history that we all love and enjoy today. Well, join me now as I bring you a compilation of excerpts taken from the latest episodes of Rambles through history. My name's James Baum, TV presenter for history, bringing history to life. Here in Warrington stands Busey Old Hall, a hall that's been derelict for 25 years and the scene of many planning battles. Now converted into luxurious apartments, it hides the fact that this hall has stood here, or a building of its type, since at least the 13th century. Prior to the 13th century, the site was actually a monastic grange before it was demolished to make way for the new hall. The hall was built by one William Fitz Almerickley Butler in the 13th century. Welcome to Rambles through history. Busey Old Hall was home to the Lords of Warrington from the 13th to the 17th centuries, and indeed in the year of 1617 the hall was visited by the first Stuart king, James I. Whilst Busey Old Hall is no longer accessible to the public due to becoming a private residence, today I've come here to take a look and see the birthplace of one Sir John Lee Butler, 13th Baron of Warrington. It was here at Busey Old Hall in the year of 1429 when a baby was born to John, aged 27, and Isabel, aged 23. This baby, also named John, would one day become the 13th Baron of Warrington. between two mounds and placed in great isolation stands a church dedicated to Edith of Polesworth, who was once the sister of one Edward the Elder. Now this church can be found down a winding, lonely country lane, and that only adds to its isolation, but it was built by the lord of the manor to accompany his castle in 1150 AD and to serve the people of the village. Welcome to Rambles Through History. St Edith's Church is approached by travelling down a long and winding country lane that runs close to the River Dee. The mound close by was once the site where the ancient castle of Cheshire once stood. Now there are no other ancient buildings within sight of St Edith's, making this one of the most obscure churches across Cheshire. Originally this church was in the possession of St John's College in nearby Chester, but following the dissolution both the rectory and the chapel of St Edith were granted to Sir Henry Fanshawe of London. Now so isolated is this church that in the year of 1921, when the new Ordnance Survey maps were being compiled, the people compiling it decided not to even name the church and simply put a tiny little cross on the map. Sitting here, I have to say that it is one of the quietest churchyards that I've ever been in since filming here in Cheshire. Built in the 12th century by the lord of the manor, it's believed that the church was completed by no later than 1150 AD. However, it's thought that the original foundations are much older, with some believing that the original building was erected as early as 985 AD and put in charge of Wulgar the priest, owner of the manor of Caldicot. Now one very positive result about St Edith's being so isolated is that any would-be restorers couldn't find the church, thus the church has been preserved almost intact since the 12th century. The Bridgewater Canal has often been described as Britain's first canal. Built by its owner and creator, the 3rd Duke of Bridgewater, Francis Edgerton, it was opened on the 17th of July 1761. Welcome to Rambles Through History. The canal was originally built, securing its place in history as being the first ever canal that didn't follow a natural watercourse. But so successful was the construction and design of the Bridgewater Canal that it was to become the standard format across the rest of Britain. The canal became known affectionately as the Duke's Cut, and it marked a golden era for canals in England, if not indeed the whole of Britain. The Bridgewater Canal was originally constructed to transport coal from the Duke's mines in Worsley and across to the industrial areas of Manchester. So what do we really know about Francis Edgerton, the 6th Earl and 3rd Duke of Bridgewater, and what was it that led him to develop the Bridgewater Canal? When Francis was young, he decided to go on the grand tour of Europe and was highly impressed by the canal systems that he saw abroad. So impressed, in fact, that he came up with the idea for building his own canal in England, and hopefully that idea would spread across Britain.